bowling alley and a movie theater, and there's a florist shop and a place where they make candy and chocolate. And I have to keep my kids from going down there. But it is one of the most important houses in the country, so we feel like we have a real big responsibility.
Not to break anything.
Not to break anything. So, and then we live on there.
The first couple visiting a local second grade class this morning on their, we'll have more on their visit in just a moment. They were describing what the White House is like for those kids. In a moment, the president on why he doesn't like...
They're going to get it in the spring. I think the theory was that the girls might be less inclined to do the walking when it was cold outside.
Portuguese water dog, you don't know yet?
You know, we're still experimenting.
Coolest thing about your new car?
You know, I thought it was the phones until I realized that I didn't know which button to press. That was a little embarrassing.
Have you had a cigarette since you've been to the White House?
You know, I haven't had one on these grounds, and sometimes it's hard, but you know, I'm sticking to it.
You said on these grounds. I'll let you pass on that. And a final question. You read a lot about Abraham Lincoln. What is the greatest thing that you've learned from your studies of Lincoln that you're bringing into the office right now?
You know, when I think about Abraham Lincoln, what I'm struck by is the fact that he constantly learned on the job. He got better. You know, he wasn't defensive. He wasn't arrogant about his tasks. He was very systematic in saying, I'm going to master the job, and I understand it's going to take some time, but in his case, obviously, the Civil War was the central issue, and he spent a lot of time learning about military matters, even though that wasn't his area of experience. Right now, I'm learning an awful lot about the economy. I'm not a trained economist, but I'm spending a lot of time thinking about that so that I can make the very best decisions possible for the American people.
Mr. President, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
They have good schools, or they don't have good housing. So I worked in neighborhoods to try to make life better for people. And then eventually I decided, after I got my law degree, I became a lawyer. And I decided that maybe I would run for office. So first I ran locally in Illinois, where we're from, in Chicago. And then eventually I ran for the United States Senate. So I was working on Capitol Hill. And then finally I decided I would run for president.
But the first thing he did was work hard in school, and he listened to his parents and his teachers.
Yes.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. President Obama sharing some personal details with second graders at a charter school in Washington today. He and the First Lady visited the school before Mr. Obama and I sat down in the Oval Office. The President and Mr.